Hey friends and family, this is Will Costello, Master Sommelier and the Estates Ambassador for VM Nacido and Solomon Hills Estates Wines. Today we're going to cover a fast 5 minutes on your favorite topic. It's a bunch of alliteration, I know. We're going to do AVAs, or American Viticultural Areas. These are essentially the growing regions of America. And it's not exactly the same as what we consider the AOCs or DOCs of Europe. This is entirely different and established totally for the United States. The definition of an AVA is essentially a geographic boundary. It has zero to do with the number of grapes grown there, the type of grapes grown there, what you're allowed to make, the style. None of that comes into play. It's entirely based upon the geographic boundaries. Between mine and my neighbor's house, I can make an AVA as long as I can grow grapes and potentially have some sort of flavor profile dedicated to my region. Now, the biggest part about that is you can actually make some pretty great wine, or you can make some pretty poor wine. The really poor wine comes when you grow something like Riesling in a really hot area like Arizona, or if you grow really powerful grapes like Cabernet Sauvignon in somewhere like Puget Sound. Doesn't really work. 10 interesting facts we're going to cover today, including the largest, smallest, and some other fun, interesting things to know about AVAs in America, including Santa Maria Valley, your new favorite AVA. First important thing to know is that AVAs change over time, meaning that from 1980, when the first AVA was established in Missouri, to today, the style of creating an AVA is completely dedicated on totally different characters. Back in the day, it was based upon just region, whereas now it can be based upon altitude above sea level, how many mountains, on which grape varietals you're going to focus on, which is more towards the European style than ever was in the past in the United States. AVAs can actually cover whole states, they can cover counties, and they can cover specific small regions. They're what are known as nesting AVA, and it pretty much starts off looking like a dartboard, right? When you think about it from the outside, from the United States, there is an AVA that covers the whole United States. So if you pull fruit from anywhere, you can call it an American wine. As we start to get smaller and smaller and smaller, the AVA circles go smaller themselves as well. So you can have something like Napa Valley AVA, which is located inside of Napa County AVA, which is located in the North Coast AVA, which covers 4 different counties, which is located, of course, in California. So each of these gets smaller and smaller and smaller. It's what we consider nesting AVAs. Now, nesting AVAs are also even smaller than just the Napa Valley area. For us in Santa Barbara, we have 7 different AVAs located in Santa Barbara, and the one that I'm most in love with is Santa Maria Valley. This was actually the 3rd AVA created in all of the United States, and it's located in the whole county of Santa Barbara, but nested inside are all of the 7 of those. One of those, actually, Santa Ynez Valley, has 4 other AVAs located inside of it. So it's kind of interesting to see that one larger AVA, Santa Ynez Valley, can even have smaller, like Los Olivos District, Ballard Canyon, and Santa Rita Hills located in itself. Any guesses on how many valleys there are in the United States? Well, valley is one of the most common terms used to describe an AVA or American Viticultural Area. And guess what? There's 69 of them. Any idea how long it takes to get to AVA status? Some of the first AVAs were created in months. All they had to do was design a boundary and name the AVA, come up with some reason to have an American Viticultural Area for growing grapes, and bam, you got it. Today, the TTB, or the Tax and Trade Bureau, sometimes takes up to 4 years to review a petition. Do you know what the first AVA was? It was actually Augusta, Missouri, in 1980, and it was the original AVA created based upon geographical regions only. Had zero to do with the grape variety, which is mostly Norton grown there, or anything related to quality, altitude, rivers, lakes, or other boundaries. It was simply based upon geography. Now, if we look at some of the other interesting AVAs, things like the largest AVA is the Upper Mississippi River Valley, and actually covers 4 different states: Wisconsin, Illinois, Minnesota, and Iowa. And it covers almost 30,000 acres in all of those. Pretty amazing to think that one AVA with the Upper Mississippi River can cover all of those states, and you can pull fruit from anywhere. You want to know what the smallest AVA is? It's actually Cole Ranch, and Cole Ranch was created in 1983, my birth year, and was actually created in only about 182 acres. The amazing thing about it was created by one man for his winery, Esterlina Vineyards, and really only covers about 50 to 60 acres. Today, it's actually owned by Sterling Vineyards, but is the smallest AVA in all of the United States. You ever heard of the Dahlonega Plateau are the Upper Hiwassee Highlands. If you haven't, it's probably because they're from Georgia. Some of our newest AVAs in America come from here. And Georgia isn't a place where a lot of people think about grape growing, but the heavy clay soils are very similar to what we'd find in Bordeaux and can actually create some amazing grapes like Albarino. I've actually had some Albarino from DeBarge vineyards that had all of the same aromatic qualities that you would get from something like Rias Baixas in Spain, but had a little more power and richness to showcase the kind of heavy qualities you get from something like Georgia grapes. What's the northernmost AVA in the United States? In fact, it's located in Washington, right near Seattle, and it's the Puget Sound AVA. Most of the grapes don't actually come from this region because you require 75% of the grapes to come from that area to put the AVA on the bottle, but most of the people created that Puget Sound AVA because they're near a population center. And since Seattle has a ton of people, they wanted to have an appellation that was right in the back door. You want to know what the AVA with the most words in it? Well, it's the Antelope Valley of the California High Desert. 7 words. There really is no requirement for what you can call an AVA. We have mountains, we have rivers, we have ranches. Really, whatever you'd like to call the area is what you can call it. There's no requirement, much like they have in Europe, where they actually have a village or a region applied to the name. Many of us know that you can't grow grapes in a hostile environment. As soon as it starts to get too hot, you really lose the opportunity for freshness and what makes a wine really fantastic. But what's the southernmost AVA in the United States? In fact, it's the Texas Hill Country, planted in 1991. It was actually planted in the high hills of Texas. It's windy, it's cool, and actually snows quite a bit in the winter. So you get this balance of acidity. Now, they're actually harvesting sometimes in July because it gets too hot and the grapes are phenolically ripe. But you can make some incredible varietals like Tempranillo, Syrah, Grenache, and Roussanne from the Texas Hill Country. You want to know an AVA that has some tea on it to be spilled? The Martha's Vineyard AVA was actually contested by Heights Cellars in Napa Valley because they own a vineyard called Martha's Vineyard and didn't want them confused. Fortunately enough, in 1985, Martha's Vineyard was actually created as an AVA. And last but not least, I want to share a little bit about Santa Maria Valley. Santa Maria Valley was actually the 3rd AVA in all of the United States, right after Napa Valley, and is located in Santa Barbara and home to the famous vineyards of Bien Nacido and Solomon Hills. And for us, it's one of the most amazing AVAs because it has temperatures that are akin to areas like Dijon in France, Kremstal in Austria, Champagne, and even areas like the central Otago, the southernmost growing region in all of the world. And for us, we have these cool climates that keep our wines fresh, bright, aromatic, and really, really intense in their fruit because, of course, you have the California sunshine. If you have the opportunity, we'd love you to try the Bien Nacido and Solomon Hills Estates wines, amongst many of the other AVAs. Thanks for joining us from Bien Nacido and Solomon Hills Estates. Happy to share the fact that we can teach you a little bit more about our wines and all of the wines of the United States every day. Thanks.